أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين شفيع ذنوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا وحبيب قلوبنا أبي القاسم محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين وأصحابه المنتجبين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي أما بعد السلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Examining the Quran and the stories of the great prophets, we see certain historical trends as to how reform comes within the human community. Now, if we look at the Ulul Azm amongst the prophets, Nuh, Ibrahim, Musa, Salamullah alayhim ajma'in, Isa, Salamullah alayh, and the Blessed Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, these are mere 5 individuals, but they have impacted the human community thoroughly and decisively. And they have governed the human community and the shape and the course that the human community has taken. Each one of them was met with extreme amount of opposition. Each one of them persevered. And that's why they're called Ulul Azm. The Blessed Prophet is being commanded in the Quran, persevere as did the Ulul Azm amongst the messengers. What happens here is, when we see, is that this opposition that come in the way of the prophets only emphasize the message that they are giving. What the people around them could not see was that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the best of planners, and He is creating a situation when the impact is a maximum impact. So now we also find moments in which the believers are shaken. The Quran says they are shaken thoroughly until they feel that the promise of God has been a lie. At other points, the Prophet and the believers cry out, Mata Nasrullah, when will the assistance of God come? So these were the sort of things that they were experiencing. Now let us look at 2 things. When the prophets came with their messages, were their message not in sync with human intuition and righteousness? Nobody can claim that they were not. Everybody will say that their messages were in sync with human intuition and a sense of righteousness. Then, therefore, we ask, why did the people oppose them so bitterly? If we look at the opposition of the people, you will always find that the Quran does not quote them bringing out concrete evidence against what the prophets were preaching. They were all based on their pagan or whatever other sentiments that they held. You are going against our established norms. You are going against the status quo. You are going against what great gods are telling us and our priests are telling us. These were the responses with which the prophets were met with. But none of these prophets got a proper, logically constructed response to refute the claims of the prophets. Now, what did the prophets say? They said, religion is one that takes you towards the fulfillment of your existence and purpose of your life. It enlightens your souls. It unites you. It makes you into caring people. It introduces purpose beyond this world. It takes you towards the hereafter. It asks you to come towards salvation. Such beautiful message. Fragmentation, killing, lying, stealing, and all of that in the name of God is not righteousness. This was the message of the prophets. They did not say anything other than that. The Prophet said, do not worship this and that, and do not follow leaders who are commanding you other than what God commands you. And Allah says in return, Allah does not command you to indecency. Allah does not command you to disunity. O Muhammad, those people who disunite their faith, you are nothing to do with them. Absolutely nothing. Now, when this message was given, why did people oppose them? When we analyze this, we find that there were always within communities people who were vociferous, loud, and the rest of the poor people just paid heed to them. Majority of the people did not even know what was going on. Majority of the people would have been appealed by their message immediately, straight away. Had it not been for these people in the positions of power who then spoke against them. Now, where the failure was that these people who silently followed the loudmouths, they were fearful of proclaiming the truth. The shame part is that those of them who survived and later on joined ranks with the truth, they managed to get their salvation. But they lost out on the greatest opportunity to be with the truth straight off at the outset. And the greatest regret is for those who died in the process of denial through fear. Now you might say, okay, these were the people who did not believe in God initially when the prophets came to them. I will say this particular trend within humanity is common to the faithful as well as the people who have not encountered faith at all. In the case of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as with the case of his noble brothers Ibrahim and Nuh and Musa and Isa salamullah alayhim ajma'in, the Prophet Muhammad was rejected by the Quraysh who were non-believers. It's understandable. Then, when he got the sway of power, they all joined ranks with him. Not to say that all of them came with him because they believed in what he said. No, majority came with him because they believed in his message and were frightened previously. A lot of them also came because it was politically now more suitable for their ambitions to be with him. Now then, what happens subsequent to the Prophet? This is within the fold of Islam now. Majority of the people rejected Amirul Mu'minin Ali ibn Abi Talib salamullah alayh. To the extent that the first civil wars that were fought within the folds of Islam were in opposition to the best of men after Prophet Muhammad. Who can deny that the best of the best, the creme de la creme, after Prophet Muhammad is Ali ibn Abi Talib salamullah alayh? The people fought against him. First with Bibi Aisha. Now of course she is the mother of the believers, so obviously she will get huge support. And top-ranking people like Talha and Zubair, who were no less than grand people back in the day, were with Bibi Aisha. These people here within the folds of Islam were blinded by their allegiance, either to Bibi Aisha or their inability to see the truth or their fear of going against the powers of the day. Then comes Muawiyah. Muawiyah, without a doubt, is the biggest devastation against Islam. He is the biggest tragedy that Islam has ever encountered. And I say this to my Sunni brothers, that please study Muawiyah. I have nothing wrong with anybody. I don't have personal hatred towards anybody, but he is the biggest devastation that Islam has ever witnessed. Now Muawiyah has people with him, fighting against Ali ibn Abi Talib salamullah alayh. When the two renowned Sahaba of the Prophet are killed, they bring the hadith of the Prophet to mind, that always none save the outlaws of my ummah will kill you. Quickly this hadith was spun that Ali salamullah alayhi is to be blamed for the killing of Ammar. Ali is to be claimed for the killing of Ammar, because the Prophet said only the outlaws and the wrongful people will kill you. They said because Ali brought Ammar to the war. Had Ali not brought him, Ammar would not have been killed. So they twisted it again. Al-Hasan was abandoned by his people to the extent that Hasan was called Mudil al-Mu'mineen, the one who indignified and humiliated the believers. Al-Hussein was asked to go to Kufa, and through treachery they betrayed him, and through their fear they killed him. Now if you look at these people prior to Islam may have been indifferent about the truth, and therefore they opposed the Prophet. A lot of them, they knew the truth, but they were just being politically, maneuvering politically. After Islam, what excuse was there? There were two types of people. One were the legitimate people who did not understand anything, and they just went with the loudest voice. These are the people who should start to think, what is the truth? But then there was a huge group of people who knew the truth and they remained silent. Amidst this is the test of these righteous souls, the great prophets and the great awliya of Allah in the form of the imams, that can they bear it? Now we see historically that whoever comes with the message and they are able to persevere with resolve and put their foot down, they win at the end of the day. This is the historical trend that we witness again and again within the Quran. Amidst all this opposition, if somebody stands with the truth and they are able to persevere, then Allah says, "Inna Allah ma'as sabirin," because the message is so clear, so unselfish, so intuitive, so in sync with humanity and human ethos, and so righteous and godly that the message prevails. I ask, O people who opposed Ibrahim, he is the father of the Abrahamic faiths that has ruled the minds of the world for the last 5 or 6 centuries. Even the accord of human rights that was made, it is an outcome of religious ethics given by these noble prophets. The human rights, the whole debate comes from the teachings of these noble prophets. We will see that Christianity, Islam, Judaism, all these religions have this notion of sanctity of life, sanctity of human beings. Musa, who was opposed by the great Pharaoh, the Pharaoh perished, Musa's legacy continues. Isa, who they chased away or they crucified, 2 billion devotees. Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, chased away from Makkah. The whole world venerates him today. Ali salamullah alayhi, with so much slander and cursing and swearing and lying against him. Today in the United Nations, he is mentioned as that role model that established justice in his short era of Khilafah. Al-Hussein today has become a religion in his own self, the one who was a destitute, abandoned through treachery. You will always find that when a person stands with the truth and they can persevere, their message will go through. What will happen is that those people who do not speak the truth inevitably realize the wrong that they are doing. Tell me something. I stand here before you on this day in such weakness that I do not know that next week you will see me here or not. All I know is I carry the burdens of responsibility on my shoulders for which I cannot respond to Allah. All I know is this. What I don't know is I can guarantee my tomorrow. For a person being in such a precarious situation, does it befit me to not speak the truth? When I claim that my life is from Allah, when I claim that Allah gives izzah and dhillah to whoever He wishes, when I claim that Allah gives rizq and withhold rizq from whoever He wishes, after that, does this soul have any excuse within himself to not to speak the truth? Tell me, when you lay me to rest in my grave, which one of you shall enter therein with me? At that point it will be me and my God. The 2 billion Muslims and the 7 billion humanity means nothing at that point. What does it mean? It means absolutely nothing. It is me and my God. You will come to me individually as I have created you individually. Leave me and the one I have created on our own, for I will question all of them. If Allah Jalla Jalaluhu is going to put Isa on the spot and question him so thoroughly, "Oh Isa, did you say this?" Do you think me or you will be spared? By Allah, if a man stands with Allah, they have nothing to fear and nothing to lose. And when a man loses Allah, they have everything to fear and everything to lose. I'm going to end this. We can never ever understand the tests that these great people have gone through. But one of the tests at which these great people complained was shamatatul a'da, the mockery of the enemies, the scorning of the enemies, the slander and the lies spewed by the enemies. We cannot understand what they have gone through. Seriously, it's the greatest test. I'll bring two examples. Al-Hassan would sit on his musalla and people would go to him and say, Assalamu alayk ya mudill al-mu'mineen. Instead of saying, Assalamu alayk ya amir al-mu'mineen, peace be with you, O commander of the faithful, they would say to him, peace be with you, O the one who brings shame to the faithful. He bore this. Hussein Salamullah alayhi came to a point where he had to say, from the time I have understood right from wrong, my lips have not uttered a lie. You are blaming me for lying. I've never lied. As Allah is my witness. This is the greatest test. Yet these great men of God, they found such tests a great opportunity to refine their human metal. I leave us with this thought. The truth has to be upheld. It has to be upheld. That is what a man is. And that is what a befitting person is. If there are 1,000 arrows pointing towards us and truth on the other side, bearing the 1,000 arrows upon the chest is easier than abandoning the truth. Look at that great Hussein. When he sees 30,000 swords unsheathed, he says, O swords, come, consume me, spare me not. For that is what a man is supposed to do. When the truth is understood, stand for the truth and trust in Allah. Can we recite Surah Fatiha for all our marhumin? Al-Fatiha. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wal asr innal insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa amilus salihat wa tawasaw bil haqq wa tawasaw bis sabr. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursaleen wa alihi at-tayyibin at-tahirin. Amma ba'd, assalamu alaykum jami'an wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In my recent visit to Iran, I was very pleased when I met with the people there and the ulama, that these people actually are people who are very, very open-minded. These are people who do not bear hatred toward other sects of Islam, nor with any humanity or human beings. I asked the ulama and I saw the laity. They said, we have no problems with the Sunnis or any faction of the Sunnis, whether it be Deobandi, Brelwi or Salafi. We do know that we all are Muslims and we need to work together. I asked them about other parts of humanity, the Americans. They said, we have no problems with them. I said, then why do you chant death to America? I said, oh, that's just become a bit of a fashion now. And they laughed. They said, we don't mean death to America. We just say it at times, and not all of us say it in any case, but it doesn't mean death to America. Now, the striking thing is that when I speak with the Sunni ulama, they say the same thing, that we really don't have any problem with the Shias. We should coexist harmoniously. And we have no problem with the rest of humanity. It is about time we existed cordially with each other. What I'm saying here is that all the things that are dividing Shias and Sunnis and Brelwis and Deobandis and Salafis and Sunnis, the Sunni camp has as much problem within itself as much as the Shia and the Sunnis have amongst each other. We will see that the root of it are certain discussions that are not even authentic within the folds of Shia and Sunni Islam. The root of sectarianism are those historical events and theologies whose credibility is lacking in itself. And the fact that the Shia ulama are saying that, look, we are ready to look into them critically. The fact that the Sunni ulama are saying we are ready to look into them very, very critically and to patch things up again and to take out things which are non-authentic is comforting, is encouraging. It says to us that yes, we can work together and look towards a better future in which we can coexist as an ummah and we can coexist with the rest of humanity in a very meaningful way and in a way in which we can actually contribute to the discussion on human welfare and well-being. So one of the discussions that took place was, how can we, the Muslims, be useful for the broader humanity? And in our deliberations, we found that yes, Islam has something unique to offer by way of Islamic teachings and culture and family life. In the West, family life is being eroded. Those family connections, respect, care and concern is diminishing because of, obviously, the whole system is not an evil system, but the whole mindset is that we have to achieve for ourselves, be career oriented and earn money and better our lives. In that, the care for the other, especially the family, is beginning to lack now, which was once a very much part of the British society and the Western society. Islam can offer this, that look, these are the gestures. We have to take care of our parents. We have to be a good force for our children. We have to care for brothers, this cordiality that we have, this sense of care for the other, for neighbor and neighborliness, all those beautiful Christian ethics that are a part and parcel of these modern societies that have been eroded at due to uncontrolled capitalistic understanding. Capitalism in itself might not be bad, but without any spiritual, moral teachings, it might get out of control to an extent that it might just defeat the purpose of human existence. But Islam retains this. Islam actually retains it. The Muslim community retains it because the Islamic teachings are forceful. We all read the Quran regularly. We read those spiritual utterances of our beautiful Prophet and the Imams regularly. The example of the Prophet is always proximate to us, so we cannot escape it. This is the way in which the Muslim community can actually contribute to the wider community. We can see right now that in the Western community there is despair. Loneliness is now considered to be a part of an unbefitting situation within the human community, within the West, alongside depression that is bringing about devastation. It's almost an illness, psychological illness. In Islam, we have mechanisms within our identity that actually curtails that. So there are two things we need to learn. That we need to uphold our beautiful Islamic teachings and culture that are humane and human-friendly. And two, we need to now meaningfully contribute within the Western society so that that community again begins to thrive in the proper sense of being fulfilled human beings. So these were some of the discussions that took place. Other discussions were that actually Islam has a lot to offer by way of understanding of what a human being is and the rights of human being. We have a lot to contribute and offer in terms of our noble philosophy, in terms of many, many things that we do, our discipline, our uniformity, our identity. These are the things that are lacking right now within the Western world or are being eroded at, and they were very much a part of the Western world, but they are being eroded now. One of the things that we also talked about, and I finish on this point, was peaceful, harmonious, coexistence with the rest of the world. And they said, no, we don't want any more wars. The wars that we had were imposed upon us. And if we actually look at it, the Iraq war was imposed upon Iran. They were defending themselves, and that's the truth. And they do not want any more hostility. This is something we need to understand, that the Iranian people are peaceful people. Not only the Iranians. When I go to the Sunni part of the world, those people are peaceful people. They do not want conflict. The Muslims now are tired of conflict. No matter what the justification for conflict were in the last few decades, they have become tired of it. And they're seeing it as an unnatural situation. This is an area on which we need to focus. Whoever gets elected as our next PM, I hope that they will lead our noble country, the United Kingdom, to be a central part in procuring peace between the West and the East. I hope we play that part as the British people through our government to actually diffuse tension through good diplomacy, to bridge the void that is there between America and Iran and other places, to talk sense, to say that this aggression, oppression, economic boycott, this is not the right way to go about things. Iran has no ambition, from what I heard from their ulama, of making a nuclear bomb. In fact, they told me, and I remember this earlier on in our own history, that Marhum Imam Khomeini had said that we are not interested in making a nuclear bomb because it is haram in Islam to destroy lives, crop, and animals, to contaminate them with chemical warfare. And that's what the example I was given, that despite the fact that Saddam used chemical weapons and biological weapons, due to the fiqh of the Shia jurisprudence, the Iranians refused to respond in a like manner. So they said, we are not interested in creating weapons of mass destruction. This goes against our belief system, our theology, and our outlook. It is my prayer that we can do something whereby our government can play an active role and a meaningful role in diffusing tension. Good diplomacy is needed from both sides and from the international community. I hope United Nations can play a positive role. I hope the European community can play a positive role. And more than anything, I hope Britain can play a positive role in diffusing this tension. And it seems that they are reducing now. It's not escalating anymore. But hopefully this trend can continue and we can talk sense and bring them all back to the negotiating table. This not the negotiating table to renegotiate any deals or anything, but the negotiating table in terms of getting these beautiful international relations going again and humanity becoming a safer and a better place to be in and at. Inshallah ya Rabbal Alameen. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وآله الطيبين الطاهرين وأصحابه المنتجبين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى قيام يوم الدين اللهم صل وسلم على محمد المصطفى